guys, it's Amanda. I'm back today with another DIY video, and this time we're getting a little bit spooky. We're gonna be making this coffin bookshelf that you see right behind me. If you know me, you know that Halloween is by far my favorite holiday. I love the costumes, the spooky, the scary, the pumpkin spice lattes, the ambiance, the fall weather, just the whole vibe of October. I love Halloween so much that I like to carry that spirit all throughout the year. So when I saw this coffin shelf online, I knew I had to have it. But anyone who knows me also knows I can't just buy something, I have to see if I can make it. This has been on my to-do list since October of last year. So when a few of you reached out to suggest this, I got to work creating a template and made one of my own. This project is something you can easily make in one day's time for just a few dollars. For this, I used a full 8-foot 1x5 board coming in at $7.50 and a 2-foot by 4-foot half-inch plywood project panel, which cost $14. In the video, I'll show you a way you can also use a thin sheet of 1/4-inch plywood or MDF instead of the half-inch plywood. I already had all the other materials needed, including the black paint, but if you don't have any black paint, you can just buy a small sample size of paint for around $5. That's about all that you'll need for this project. Let's start off by talking about the template for the shelf. You can customize this and make it any size you want just by doing a little bit of math. I decided on the overall dimensions I wanted, then broke the shape down into triangles and rectangles to figure out the angled cuts. Using a little bit of math from my high school days, I determined the angles I needed to miter the corners and came up with a cut list. I took that over to the miter saw and began cutting the 1x5 board. I'm tracing the inside of this coffin shape rather than the outside because I want this half-inch plywood piece to sit inside the shelf. So originally I had wanted to miter all of these corners around the entire shelf, but this piece is giving me lots of trouble. So what I'm gonna do instead is cut this flat right here so that this will sit flat, and then I'm gonna have a new piece. The join, instead of gonna be right here in the middle, is gonna be right across that way. So I'm gonna cut this at the same angle, not exactly the same as this angle, but it's gonna be pretty similar. So if you go back and look at this here, so this angle that I cut it was 69, and this angle, the 69, is these two split. So what I'm actually gonna be doing is cutting this same 72 angle right here on the bottom in order to make that flat parallel with the ground. And then I'm gonna cut another board at the other angle. All right, so now that I have these bottoms cut, you can see that this is just gonna be a flat piece against the bottom here. So there are two ways you can do it. You can put a piece up against the bottom like this, cut these sides flush, or you can put it on the inside here, which is what I think I'm gonna do so that I can reuse this bottom piece, not waste any more of these wood scraps here. And so then I'm gonna cut them to fit in this angle and fit to sit flush straight across that bottom there. It's also gonna give it a lot better structure on the bottom since I can screw either into the sides or from the bottom up versus having to connect those mitered corners. And here's how that piece looks in there, nice sitting flush. And now I just have to tape this and then recut the back piece. The back is now cut and fits nicely right on the inside here. I'm creating it this way because by attaching the sides to the back in this way, it's going to create more structure within the shelf. An alternative way that you could do it is, of course, just to put a piece of plywood, like a thin 1/4 inch plywood, and trace it along the back and attach it on the back that way. But I wanted this shelf to have quite a bit of structure so that you could hang it, you could, you know, do more things with it. It would be a little bit more versatile than just kind of a standing shelf. And then having that thicker backboard in there will allow you to mount it on the wall to do like a flush mountings or something like that. The pocket holes in this bottom piece here, because this piece is so small, there wasn't a whole lot of room to do 2 split pocket holes on each side this way, so I staggered them. So I have 2 that are going this way into the wood, and then 2 more that are going the opposite way into the wood there. I decided to sand these pieces before assembling to make it easier to get into all the corners. After securing the bottom and 2 of the sides together, I proceeded to secure the sides to the back piece instead of securing the sides to themselves first. If you're making one of these, I highly suggest that first of all, you should secure all of the sides together and then put the back piece in. The way I did this led to problems later on that I'll show you in securing the corners together, but just trust me on this one, secure all the sides first. I used some scrap wood to hold up the back piece so that I could assemble this upside down because the pocket holes are on the back side. So I just have 2 sides here that are not coming together. I'm gonna see if I can try to clamp these opposite ways and push them together so that I can secure them with a nail. At this point, I realized my nail gun wasn't gonna fit in that tiny little space. So I sat there and thought about it for a minute, realized that I needed something like a pocket hole screw in order to secure those 2 sides together. But I couldn't use the pocket hole jig because of the angles and how they fit together. It just wouldn't have worked to use the entire jig. So I decided to see if I could kind of like freestyle this, like literally just put that bit into the drill and drill a pocket hole right at the exact angle that I needed it. Honestly, I just got super lucky that this worked. If you've done something like this, tell me below in the comments. Tell me what I should do if you have any other suggestions. Either way, this is my brand new dance move. I'm calling it the freestyle pocket hole. I really wish I got a better video of this. My neat little freestyle countersink here, but it is looking like it's holding. I'm just gonna fill that little hole and then of course nail the rest of these nails in, fill the gaps, and then attach the shelves. This is like the worst job ever, but that's okay. We're gonna sand it and make it pretty. I took the remaining piece of 1x5 board and drew the cut lines for the shelves. Since the back piece is taking up some of the depth of the shelf, it will need to be cut 1/2 of an inch lengthwise in addition to each side. This corner here where I put the wood filler in turned out pretty nice. It's gonna paint over really smooth once we are ready to paint. I'm so thrilled with how this shelf turned out, I can't wait to decorate it. If you're planning on making your own, you probably have an idea of what to store in your coffin shelf, but just in case, here are some ideas. The obvious one is your skeleton collection. Some alternatives include sunglasses, makeup, candles, just not lit please, this is a wood shelf, plants, whiskey bottles, and my personal favorite, snacks. If you've made it this far in the video, please do me a favor and click that like button below. Also, be sure to subscribe for more spooky DIYs, and if you have any requests, drop it in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Today we're getting a little bit spooky.